So Tarisland is a new MMORPG that's being called the new Chinese WoW. If you don't know, Blizzard lost its licensing in China and had to shut down the World of Warcraft servers. Tarisland is being labeled as the answer to that. However, I don't really believe that because it's pretty clear the game has been in development for a long time. Quick editor's note, guys, since I got the footage for the video after doing the voiceover, I just want to give a shout out to Spid where the gameplay footage came from. He was in the beta and did extensive coverage on the game, so if you are interested in the game, I highly recommend you subscribing to his channel. Of course, after you subscribe to mine first, because I'll also be doing extensive coverage of the game and hope to get into the next beta. So I just want to give a quick shout out to him. Thanks again, Spid, and again, if you're interested in the game, check him out. The game looks very close to being finished and is pretty polished. The game is expected to release sometime this year, probably around the end of the year. The game boasts great-looking large dungeons with multiple bosses and many different mechanics. The closed beta had one 10-man raid that had 4 bosses with a 5th and final boss hopefully available for the next test. The bosses were reported to be very fun and plenty challenging. I saw footage of the bosses in dungeons and raids with ads that needed to be off-tanked, players getting marked and having to run out of the group with mechanics, different boss healing mechanics that needed to be dealt with, etc. Basically, if you've ever played WoW, you know about these mechanics, but it genuinely does look really fun to play. The game also sports mythic dungeons, which seem to be the exact same thing as they are in WoW, basically harder versions of original dungeons. There may be some new dungeons added to this pool according to the developers. This game does have the traditional trinity of tank, healer, and DPS classes and specs. It also uses a traditional MMO tab target combat system. When it comes to the classes, they each have 2 specs, some being both DPS, some being 1 tank and 1 DPS, and some being 1 healer and 1 DPS. Graphically, the game does look really good. If I had to compare it, I'd say it looked like a modern-day World of Warcraft with some Western influence thrown on top of it. One of the cool things about the game is many of the things you would traditionally need add-ons for in WoW, like damage meters and boss mechanic helpers, are naturally built into the game. The UI also looks very good and pretty minimalistic compared to some other MMOs out there. But one of the cool things is that if you don't like the UI, that's totally fine because it's completely customizable. Based on feedback from the recent closed beta, this game has vast amount of content for both group and solo play. There's lots of exploration, gathering, and treasures around the world to find. There's also events that dynamically spawn based on time and weather. There's jump puzzles and swimming puzzles. All that to say that if you're a player that enjoys MMO solo, then this game does not fail to deliver in that aspect. There will also be other types of events and things to do out in the open world, and many of these things you'll want to do in order to gain reputations with various factions. Now, unlike a lot of current MMOs, rather than only exploring the world while leveling up and ending up spending all your time in one in-game zone, this game gives you objectives and things to do scattered throughout the entire world, and most of these things are absolutely worth your time to go and do for your progression or other aspects for your character. Now, if you're thinking this sounds too good to be true, don't worry, I did too, but there are a couple important things that you'll want to take note of. The first is that this is a PC and a mobile title. I'm not exactly sure how the mobile version will work, we haven't seen any footage of that yet to my knowledge. But before you panic, the developers have made it very clear on their website. There's a whole banner dedicated to saying that this game will have no pay to win. The developers claim that this will be a game where power is determined by hard work, progression, character builds, and player skill. The game will have PvP as well. In the closed beta, you could group up with your friends and go into objective-based battlegrounds. The arenas weren't open for testing, but the developers are hoping they'll be finished and ready by the next test that will hopefully be very soon. So all in all, this game looks like it'll have plenty of group and solo content on launch. Now I'm sure there will be an optional subscription with quality of life features, and the best cosmetics will probably be in the shop. But based on everything I've seen of this game, I do have to say I'm very excited to play it and genuinely want to see this game succeed. So that's it. Just wanted to make a quick video about the game. I'm very excited for it. I'd love to hear your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, subscribe and stuff. Check out my Should You Play It series or some of the other videos on the channel, and I hope you stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and have a great week.